What up? What up? How you doing, guys? Welcome to the Hub of Fantasy Football. I am your host, Uriah, and currently I have another co-host, Foley. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well, better than either of my co-hosts, including the one that was so ashamed of being knocked out of the playoffs. Yeah, that's right. He just couldn't even join us today. At least one member of this podcast is still alive.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, Foley. After the debacle of my team Sunday in the third quarter when I was just annihilated by the Detroit Tigers, I hung my head. I just took a break, didn't even watch Monday Night Football games. And you know what? I was sitting here coming on the way, and I was like, this sucks. I'm really not into this. I hadn't done a whole lot of homework. But you know what? This podcast is like the Super Bowl.
That's right.
I got to give it all every time.
Every week it's
I'm
the
here,
Super
baby.
Bowl.
So, this would be SemiFinals week for some people, not me. So how does it feel?
It feels, I would say it feels pretty good, but I'm against Garland is the problem.
Yeah.
Who has had some luck on top of already being very good. He now has Jahmyr Gibbs free.
Full time.
Yeah, free from the David Montgomery ball
handcuff,
and chain,
yes.
handcuff, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And Garland, as we've talked about a lot on this podcast, Garland has my number more than any other player in this league. He consistently finds ways to beat me. He was when we faced in the championship in, I believe, 2018 it was, he was favored, or I was favored to win by like 50 points, and he ended up beating me by like 25.
Yeah. Look, if the last 3 weeks haven't done anything, haven't told anybody anything about fantasy football, it can be a cruel, cruel woman or a very happy mistress.
Yes, it tends to be cruel when I'm against Garland.
Yeah, me too. So, listen, before we get started into our games, I just want to say, Foley, on this podcast, I probably will be a negative Nancy towards some of the teams, but I'm going to keep it real, and I'm going to go with my gut feeling, and there will be a lot of hot takes.
That's fair. Here's what I'll say going into this. If you are lucky enough to still be in the playoffs in this league or in any league, I think the number one thing, go with the girl who brung you.
Absolutely.
Don't get cute. Yeah, that's right. Don't go chasing. I'm just going to throw this name out there, and he is in a starting lineup in a playoff team right now. Jalen McMillan. Don't get cute.
I kind of like him this week, though.
We'll talk
I'm just saying.
Jalen McMillan is not what got you to the playoffs. I don't know why you're trusting him now all of a sudden. But we can get into that game when we get to it, or maybe even the boomers and busts.
Oh. All right, so we'll go ahead and get it.
Before we get to I'm sorry,
just
real quick before we get to the games, if that's what you were about to
go ahead, hit me up.
I did update our LVPs now that there are two more teams out of the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Evans because Evans was very, very easy. Patrick Mahomes, least valuable player.
I know.
First round pick. Taken later in the same round were Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. Man, I
know you're looking for like 25 points, and he's got like 15 and 18 every week.
It's bad. I mean, we're about to find out how much worse it can be if it's Carson Wentz in that offense. But
yes,
but I thought it was a strange pick at the time to take Mahomes over Lamar or Hurts. My top three by a mile were Allen, Hurts, Lamar in that order. So I didn't understand the pick, and it sure did not pan out. So sorry, Evan. Yours was a lot harder. I'm curious what you think your LVP was, because I came up with two names that I'm stuck between.
I'll just let you take it.
Okay.
Just go ahead.
I ended up going with Brock Purdy because Jaden Daniels went in the next round. We know you love Jaden Daniels. And we know how I feel about Brock Purdy. I went with him. I thought a close runner-up would have been Tank Dell, though, who went in like the 5th round, I think.
Okay. See, I would probably go toward who else was available after Tank.
That's the reason I ended up shying away from Tank, because there was a long string of better than Tank, but not amazing. Like Amari Cooper ended up going not long after him. It was a lot of people in that tier.
I don't feel like I lost really that much. Now, on the Brock Purdy side, before, I think it was 3 weeks ago, he was averaging 19 points,
Sure.
which I'm okay with. The problem was the injuries.
Yeah, Ayuk going down
now
changed everything.
Now I will say he was not great. He's not a great quarterback. I'll agree with you with that, but he is in a good system.
Yep.
And like I said, he was averaging around 18, 19 points every week, and I'm fine with that for a number 2 quarterback.
That's fair.
In a super flex. But Christian going down, I thought Christian would be the savior. I was just like, man, all them out the backfield passes would just be money, and it didn't.
And to be clear, as much as like I badmouth Brock Purdy and have since he came into the league, I didn't think it was a bad pick at the time for everything you just said. Like that offense, yeah, sure, he can be fine. I just don't think he's actually a good quarterback. But I don't know. When I was going through it, yours was hard. Injuries hurt you as much as anything. Ayuk going down, obviously that was a big injury.
Yeah,
it's hard to point to one player.
Everybody had that, so
Yeah.
I can't really say that. But let's see. You got anything else? We'll go ahead.
I think we're good to get going. I think at the end of this, we'll talk some holiday stuff. But other than that, we're good.
All right. So the first matchup will be Thursday. It will be the Broncos versus the Chargers. The Broncos are 9-5. The Chargers are 8-6. Let's go with the Broncos.
Bo Nix had a bad game, didn't he?
Yep.
You still got to trust him though.
Okay. I'm going to you can stay in the super flex mode. I'm going to be single.
Okay.
I would not start him. The only person I think you can trust on this team, even at a minuscule rate, would be Cortland Sutton.
I think
that's
is a
it.
must start.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not even because San Diego's secondary is very good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Now if they get on crossing routes under the linebackers, that's a different story. But I mean, Derwin James is a monster, and I just feel like, to me, Cortland Sutton is a flex at the best, number 2 to a flex.
Yeah, I would classify him as a wide receiver too. I think in a 2 quarterback league, Bo Nix is an obvious start. You can probably find a better streamer if you're in a 1 quarterback league. Because you're right. I mean, the Chargers defense, it's been a little worse in the last few weeks than it has been, but I still trust Jim Harbaugh to give a rookie quarterback some fits.
All right, so moving on. You got anybody? I don't think anybody else on
Not
this.
any running backs.
They don't have a running back on the team, do they?
Don't touch them.
The Chargers.
And by the way, also I'm sorry. Like Marvin Mims has been getting more involved. Don't trust it.
No,
Again,
do not.
Don't chase that.
He will have more rushes than he will have catches.
It's true, but the rushes won't get you enough.
No, yes. So moving on to the Chargers, and on this, I just got 2 people, and I think we know who they are: Herbert and Ladd.
Yeah, and the thing with Herbert, he's also been pretty rough the last few weeks. This goes back to remember what Foley said: "I'm never wrong. I'm just prematurely correct." And maybe I was just prematurely correct on Herbert.
That's like 80% of the quarterbacks this week are hurt somewhat.
Yes, he is playing banged up, but he's also just not been.
He hadn't been great. I will agree with that. And personally, I would say Ladd only.
Yeah.
And stay away from this game.
Yeah.
It's a Thursday night game also, which is the Pits. I mean, we had, 1 game this year that was great?
Hey, it's better than Monday night.
Well, that's a whole nother story.
No, I agree. Ladd is a must start. I made the mistake of I still won, thankfully. I won in all my leagues last week, but I made the mistake of benching Ladd last week because I was concerned about injury, and boy, that did not pan out the way I was hoping it would. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's a must start. Dude's really a stud, and Herbert is a QB2.
Yes. All right, next game, the Texans versus the Chiefs. The Texans are 9-5. The Chiefs are 13-1. Who knows how? Texans first. Foley.
Stroud's a QB2. I can't really call him more than that. Still,
I would not start him in a one QB league.
No, Nico's a must start.
Nico only.
Yep.
Mixon is hurt.
Is he hurt again? I missed that.
Well, he's banged up.
Yeah.
So basically, you're taking a banged up against like one of the top 5 running defenses in the league.
I'll still take him.
If you got him, you're starting him.
Yeah,
but
it's Joe Mixon.
I'm gonna say 10 points.
Okay.
I'm not expecting a whole lot from him.
I'll take 10 points.
As far as
No Tank Dale.
yeah, no, new Tank Dale. And if I was still in the running, I would also say nobody on either side of this team.
Yeah, I mean, on the
Is Patrick
Chiefs
playing?
he's probably not. It's not
Okay.
for sure yet, but I don't think Patrick's going to play. I think it's going to be Carson Wentz, and that's just
Super Bowl?
yes, yeah. I don't trust Carson Wentz. I have never thought he was a particularly good quarterback, at least since he tore his ACL way back when. And as much as we can badmouth how Patrick Mahomes has played this year, I really do think we're about to find out
How good he is?
yes,
Yeah.
how much he has been elevating this team. And without him, I mean, I love you, DeAndre Hopkins, but you're not a young man anymore.
Remember Tennessee?
Yeah, the corpse.
Yeah, the corpse in the end zone. Yeah.
I don't think you can start Hopkins. I don't think you can start Xavier Worthy, even though he has been getting more involved. I just don't trust it with Carson Wentz anymore. I don't. I'm certainly not Pacheco. He's still splitting carries with Kareem Hunt. That's not getting any better. I would have, if Mahomes were playing, I would come on this pod and
Pacheco?
say, I don't think you can start
Okay.
Pacheco. But I would have said, with Mahomes playing, you could take a look at Noah Gray.
Okay.
As he's the second tight end, but still, he's been relatively productive. He's getting like 7 to 14 points a game, which is fine if you don't have a stud tight end. But with Carson Wentz, who knows what he's going to do?
Who knows?
Maybe you can plug in Travis Kelce, but
He's the only maybe
Yeah.
I would start, and that's just because check down Charlie.
yeah, exactly.
Like I said, all these games are very iffy.
Yeah.
Very volatile this week. I'm not expecting a whole lot of scoring
Yeah.
as far as fantasy
Sure.
leagues.
And look, we could come back next week and
Totally
feel
wrong.
like total idiots, and Carson Wentz was actually good in this game. 1 game sample size, anything can happen.
Yes.
And all these guys go off. I think if you played this out 100 times, though, 80 times, these are
It's
not going to
gonna
be fantasy
yeah.
starters.
Absolutely. Next game, I'm kind of excited about this game. Steelers and the Ravens.
Yeah.
Always a great game. AFC North. The Steelers are 10-4. The Ravens are 9-5. Start with the Steelers. Is Pickens playing?
Probably no Pickens. I doubt he plays. He might, but I think they really want to make sure he's 100% for the playoffs. They know they're going to be in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and they know they need him in the playoffs. So that said, if he does not play, Calvin Austin's worth a look.
Okay.
As much as I say, don't chase, Calvin Austin is really coming into the Pickens role, and so if Pickens is not out there, I think you can take a shot on Calvin Austin as a flex. He's not like a must start, but you can look at him.
All right, my good to go would be the Freiermuth. Let him go this week.
He might be. I don't hate him as a pick. Yeah, tight ends have had some success against Baltimore. You know how I feel about Arthur Smith and tight ends.
I know. I feel like that's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah.
Najee, I wouldn't wholeheartedly trust him. Of course, I don't think if you've made it this far, you're probably not trusting him. He's 2 at the most.
He's a 2. Yeah, I mean, you just got to hope he doesn't fumble a snap that gets returned for a touchdown.
Yeah. I do think Russ will be better this week. Now, I'm not saying he would. One quarterback, I would not start him either.
Yeah.
He would be 12 to 15 range.
That's fair. 15 sounds about right. 15 to 20, I would say. Yeah, I mean, without Pickens, his ceiling is just not as high. But Calvin Austin's getting better, and this defense, it's not the best.
It's not the best. Other than that, I got nobody else.
Not on that side now.
The Ravens.
Yes.
You got to start everybody, right?
Well, we'll talk about everybody. First of all, with Lamar, obviously you're starting him.
Lamar and Henry.
That said, temper your expectations with Lamar.
Absolutely, yes.
This Steelers defense.
A great defense.
And Mike Tomlin knows
But it's
Mr. Jackson, as he calls him.
But it's also just like the Joe Mixon. You got him.
You got him.
You're starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just kind of
Oh, yeah.
gird your loins. This might not be Lamar's best game. He did not have a great game against the Steelers last time they played this year.
There are only two must-start running backs this week.
Saquon and Henry.
No.
What?
Saquon, and I'll leave that next one.
Oh, Gibbs. Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
Gibbs.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry
Yeah.
to spoil it, but yeah.
Yes. But
Sure.
Zay's a go.
Zay is a go. I think Zay's a very strong
Yes.
go, but I do have another wide receiver to bring up.
Are you gonna say Bateman?
I'm bringing it up to ask the question and also to give a shout out to someone from Yahoo who I often make fun of. I assume it was Dalton Dell, but I really don't know who wrote this. But I saw a thing Sunday morning from Yahoo Sports that was like, Rashad Bateman is a must start today.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
If he,
I saw
good
that
call.
headline and I didn't read it and I was like, I guess I can see why he's saying this, but that is bold. And then the dude caught 2 touchdowns.
I will give him that. That's good. Yes, and like I said, it's this week. Temper all your expectations. Go with, like you said, who brought you there.
Yeah.
You like Jalen McMillan, Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, I wouldn't start Bateman, to be clear.
Okay, flex at the most.
At the most, and I would probably look for a better flex option. But I wanted to see what you thought about him.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
If, like I said, Bateman or Jalen McMillan, I would take the upside with McMillan because of who he's playing.
Okay. Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fair.
I said,
I think I'd go Bateman, actually. I think I would go Bateman.
It's just Steelers defense.
Zay, great start.
I do. Yes, I agree with that. Moving on. Next game, Giants versus the Falcons. The Giants are 2-12. The Falcons are 7-7. And I think we have called this.
Yep.
Talked about it.
Yep.
I think I brought it up,
You brought
3
it up
weeks?
2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I revisited last week
Yes.
to say, this is the game. This is the one where if Kirk doesn't show out, he's done.
I mean, we called it.
Yep.
Fantasy Analyst of the Year. But yes,
Give us
seriously.
our SP.
Yes. Seriously, though, guys, we'll start with the Giants first. And this is a sad game, I feel like. Another garbage game.
Tim Boyle.
Neighbors is it?
The Boyle Bowl. I might.
You're going to say Tracy, aren't you?
I don't love it, but I might be starting it.
Well, that would be if you have to.
Yeah, I mean, I've
I've
got options.
Which I feel like in this week will be a lot of this or that.
Sure.
Where you're like,
I've got 4 running backs, and I don't know which 2 I'm starting. I mean, we can go through it.
Absolutely.
I've got Chuba Hubbard. I've got Tyrone Tracy, who is banged up, by the way, dealing with an ankle injury, so it could end up being Devin Singletary instead, who I also have. I've got Ramondre Stevenson, and I've got Brian Robinson Jr. Pick 2.
Washington's playing the Eagles, aren't they?
I think that's right.
Who's Chuba playing? Somebody good. Somebody not good.
Heck, I don't have it in front of me.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. Just keep those names in mind as we go through this.
I would say Neighbors is that, and that's it.
Neighbors is the only must start.
Moving to the Falcons. Now, listen, I know people are going to be hot and shiny, brand new toy.
I'm worried.
I would not trust any wide receiver. Maybe Drake London. Maybe.
I think you do still have to start London, but you're worried.
Oh yes.
And of course you start Bijan.
Bijan would be your only safe bet.
Yeah.
Moody has just disappeared. And look, and I'll just say this. Okay, they had Kirk Cousins, and it's been 5 weeks of crap.
Yeah.
And I think the highest they scored was 21. And I think that was against somebody. Sorry, I can't remember, guys. Sorry off the hand. We don't have computer notes in front of us.
That's true.
So I think the second they had 13 and 7. So I mean, that's what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's been so weird with Kirk because if you looked at how the season has gone, September Kirk was awful.
Yes.
October and most of November, Kirk looked pretty good.
And then he just dropped.
That's right. Late November and all through December, he has been awful, awful, awful. And so the question for me is like, I think the answer, where does Penix fall in that? I don't think he's as good as Kirk was in October, but better than Kirk has been the last month.
The only thing he has going for him to me is mobility. and he still isn't the most mobile
No,
quarterback.
he's not the most mobile. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm.
He does, but I mean, a lot more. Listen, like
I know that's not everything to a quarterback.
That's what I mean. And a lot of people don't think about this. Like when they think about wide receivers, a lot's got to go right.
Oh yeah.
Your center's got to hike the ball. Your line's got to block. Your running back's got to block. There have to be good routes ran and a good pass thrown, and the quarterback can't have a jump on the ball. That's a lot to happen to have a good pass. Saying that, like I said, Drake, maybe. Bijan, definitely.
I'm interested to see how it goes. I agree with you as far as who the starts are. I would definitely start London is the only thing I would change, but I would stay away from Mooney. I would stay away from my boy Ray Ray. I would stay away from Kyle Pitts. Although maybe
far away from Pitts.
Maybe this is
there's no way.
This is the thing that unlocks him. He just needed Michael Penix. This is what he's been waiting for all these years. This is it. Fire him up. No.
Do not fall down that chasm. Moving on to the next game. Now, this next slate of 3. Let me see. Yeah, 3 games. This is where we're coming from. All right, Lions versus the Bears. The Lions are 12-2. The Bears are 4-10. And even though the Lions are severely banged up, start them.
Yes, start everyone. Again, I've talked about this with the Lions before. It was like after they almost lost to Houston but still did win.
Yeah.
It was like then they went to Jacksonville the next week and they were like, we just want to remind everyone who we are and beat the ever-living hell out of Jacksonville.
And the way they played last week, if it was any other team, they would have beat the crap out of them.
They would have won big time, yeah. And they're going to do it against Chicago.
So I'm going to say must starts everybody.
Yes.
Gibbs would be my start him. I'm also going to say Jameis.
You're going to start Jameson Williams.
Yes. Now, when I say that is a flex only. Yeah. But get him out there if you got him.
Everyone knows my take on Jameson Williams. It hasn't changed.
Okay.
Another player on another game that I always have that same take for has changed. But for JMO, it's still, if you're an underdog, play him. If you're the favorite, sit him.
Okay. Let's see. Bears.
Nobody.
I mean, that's a shrug. Maybe DJ Moore.
Genuinely, it's nobody for me.
I agree with you.
I think I said that last week as well. Not even DJ Moore, not DeAndre Swift. I don't want anything to do with this team right now. It's
a dumpster fire.
It's rough. Somebody said that Caleb Williams looks like he's a 7-year-old playing Madden and just like pressing the same button over and over again. I don't think that's quite right, but there's problems. There's problems. And it's not all his fault, but some of it is.
Yes, I would say 60-40. 40 on the head coach fiasco. 60 is on him. I think there's a lot of mechanics that can be worked out. A lot of decision making the most.
I think the decision making is specifically like he just takes too long.
Yes.
He takes too long to process. He needs to get the ball out quicker. This is his number one problem.
You have Komet, you have Keenan Allen, you have DJ Moore.
Trust them to make the play.
Give me slant routes, 2 steps and a throw.
Yep.
Man, I think they would be money. And then every now and then have what's his face, Odunze on a deep.
He's just got to trust him to make the play. Can you imagine Drake May on this team?
With
those receivers? Oh, my God.
Look, and I think that was a lot of people had high expectations for him at the start of the season because he had a good.
Yep.
Now, he had good pieces. I'm not going to say the line was faulty.
Yeah.
The defense was a little faulty, but he had weapons.
Yeah. Well, and they'd invested in the offensive line. None of the investments panned out.
Yes.
Was the problem.
Yeah.
They thought the line was going to be better than it did.
Much like the Giants. Anyway.
Yeah.
So next game, Browns versus the Bengals. The Browns are 3-11. The Bengals are 6-8. The Browns, DTR is starting, and that just nullifies every wide receiver on that team, including Njoku.
I completely missed that about DTR, but this makes more sense now. I was wondering why Garland wasn't starting Jameis.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. You just gave me a little bit of hope.
Look, it's going to come crumbling down, though.
Wait, hang on. I got to go make sure DTR isn't available.
Nobody wants DTR, but he will start the rest of the year, I bet.
Oh, my God.
Yes. So, now, Anyway,
Okay, Joe's got him good.
all right. The Browns are 3-0. I'm saying the Bengals 6-8. Start them all.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm recovering. I think you just went through Cleveland. Yeah, don't start anyone from Cleveland. Well, do you start Judy? Let me
No.
just ask that. Do you start
No.
Judy?
No.
Okay.
DTR has scored a max of, I think it was like 13 points
That's fair.
his career.
That's fair. I don't know. I think I agree. I think that Jerry Jeudy is a Jameis Winston merchant. He was never good before Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to think he will still be good without him. I agree, but I wanted to ask the question because I didn't realize this. He is one of only 5 receivers this year with 1,000 yards. I did not realize he had gotten 1,000 yards.
A lot of it came from one game, but yes.
Yeah, but still, that's true.
No, yes. It's just DTR.
Yeah,
It's just that effect. Right. And your lead running back now is Jerome Ford.
R.I.P. Nick Chubb.
Yeah. Poor. He's probably going to retire.
Man, I love you.
I know. But, yeah, do not.
I'm with you.
Nobody.
I'm with you. I mean, you can start Njoku still. I would still start Njoku.
I would not. I think that's a mistake. Let's see.
All right, Bengals. Sorry about that.
Yes, start them. Get them going.
Yes.
Crank them up. Chase Brown is elite this year. I don't know if it's going to happen next year or moving forward, but this year he is Joe Mixon from last year and the years before.
Yeah, he's just got so many touchdown opportunities. That definitely helps. I think he got it there twice last week.
Yeah.
I don't love this matchup for him, to be honest. I think Cleveland is going to give him some fits, but you still have to start him.
I think that the defense will be tired.
Maybe so. You could be right. But yeah, you're starting everyone. I mean,
yes.
Obviously you're starting Chase. You're obviously starting Higgins. Are you starting Burrow? Has he been?
Yeah.
Okay.
Comeback player of the year?
Doesn't qualify. Has been injury.
He did have an injury.
Oh, you're right. He did. He did have an injury.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm saying.
Shoo-in, right?
Yeah, I would think so, but that's me.
He's got to be. Oh,
look, look at me just throwing out.
Reach out to some people at the Associated Press because he needs those votes.
I think he has them. Moving on, next game: Titans versus the Colts. The Titans are 3-11. The Colts are 6-8. And I'm just going to say this, and it's on the record. Start them Colts. Start AR, baby. Get him in there and crank him up. How crazy is that?
Lifelong fan of AR here. Never doubted his talents.
Ever.
It's been interesting what they've done with AR. They've made him just stop doing what we always thought was what he was best at, the deep balls and stuff, and they're turning him into a bit of a point guard these last few weeks.
He's still not good, but start him. I'm sorry.
He's done okay as a point guard though. Yeah, I don't hate the start. I wouldn't do it in one quarterback league. But
oh no, I'm sorry. I forgot I was doing that.
Yeah.
But yes,
Okay.
2 quarterback start him. Yes.
I think Josh Downs is a real good play this week. I think he's got a good matchup in the slot.
Jonathan Taylor is iffy.
I mean, he would have had an incredible game last week if he hadn't dropped it at the goal line. You big dumb Deshaun Jackson. That almost cost me a game, by the way.
That would have been funny.
That was like an 9-point play, I think it was. Yeah. I ended up winning by 2 in one league. And I was projected the whole time to lose because ever since that play got reversed, I was projected the entire way to lose. Ended up squeaking past. Screw you, Jonathan Taylor. I am not happy with you, but yeah, start him.
Titans, just so you know, what's his name? Tony Pollard, still banged up.
Yep.
My start of the week, Tajay Spears.
He had a good game last week.
Get him in there.
After I just named him LVP for Todd last week.
That's right. He went and cranked it up.
It's finally his time to shine. Maybe so. Mason Rudolph, you gonna...
That's a big no. See the DTR that we just talked about.
Garland, please replace... now that you're without Jameis, go stick in Mason Rudolph for me. Do that. He'll tear me up. Just because I'm saying it, he probably will tear me up.
He will.
So
We
there
have
you
that
go,
effect.
Garland. There's your advice. Yeah, no, you can't start anyone but maybe Spears. I don't think Spears is a must start, to be clear.
No.
That's a
I will
flex.
call him and say that he's going to have a good game, though.
There you go. Or Pollard if Pollard does play. Whichever.
He's going to play. I just think he's too banged up.
I would not start Spears if Pollard plays.
Okay. Let's see. Next game, Rams versus the Jets. Rams are 8-6. The Jets are 4-10. Kyron, start him up.
Yes.
And Stafford, start him up.
Yes.
Puka, Cup, start him up.
Cup can't be worse than he was last week. He
That was
cannot.
that was just the weather. That's what we're going. That's what we're going to say.
Yeah, we'll blame the weather.
Just like earlier with Mixon and them, you got him, you're starting him.
No, for sure. You're starting Cup. You're starting those guys. It's the Rams are maybe the easiest team to talk about in fantasy. You know who they
The
are.
hardest team would be the Jets. Can you?
Getting easier.
What? It's 3 weeks in a row.
Devontae's an auto start.
Devontae's auto.
I think Garrett Wilson's a good start this
I
week.
think he is too.
I think he's a real good start.
Aaron Rodgers, 2 quarterback league start.
Yeah, that's where we are. But we're giving our opinions on him, so, I mean, we're supposed to state our vax status. I am vaccinated, I'll say that. But I've given you my opinion. He's a QB2 only. But his playmakers,
Absolutely, yeah.
his playmakers are good, or his receivers are good. The running back is the question mark.
I wouldn't start him.
If there's a question of if he plays, if Brees plays or not. I think you do start him, but it's iffy. If he doesn't, same. I'll say the exact same thing for Braylon Allen.
I would not start either one of them
They're both flexes.
unless you just had to.
Yeah.
Flex at the most. Let's see. Moving on. Now, this will be a good game. The Eagles versus the Commanders. The Eagles are 12-2. The Commanders are 9-5. Will Jaden Daniels show up for this game? Now, there's no reason he shouldn't.
Yeah.
I'll say that. He has been playing great. I'm not a big fan of Jalen Daniels. I liked him at LSU. Not a big fan as a pro-style quarterback. But you got to start him.
I should have done the research, and I didn't. I wonder how Cliff Kingsbury has done against Vic Fangio defenses historically.
Oh, I have no clue on that.
It's
The Minister of Statistics.
That's an interesting one that I don't have any analysis on, but it seems like a fascinating matchup.
Scary Terry torched me last week. He's an auto start.
Yeah, he's an auto start. I mean, look, Jaden Daniels is an auto start. You're right. Maybe this is a good matchup for him. Maybe it's not, but you've got to start him.
Absolutely.
And Scary Terry, you've got to start. Brian Robinson is one of those for me that it's like, what running back am I starting? As I think about it, I think Brian Robinson will probably be one of them, but it's not an easy matchup.
Start Brian Robinson and Chuba. They play the Cardinals.
Robinson, Chuba. That might be what I go with over Tracy and Ramondre. Still thinking it through.
All right. Ertz is out too.
He is out?
Yes.
Well, I had him on my bust list.
I think he is. I'm pretty sure he is. Eagles.
Benson not bust.
Eagles, start them all.
Yes.
Got to.
Who called that A.J. Brown breakout game?
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
And he didn't even have to squeak much.
Devontae showed out.
Devontae did show out. That was another prematurely correct because he was my boom the week before.
But I will say this, temper your expectations because I wholeheartedly expect Saquon to run the show this week.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think last week was them just reminding everyone that they were
we
capable
can.
of doing this, and now they're going to go back to doing what they want to do.
Yes.
I think you're right, but you still got to start this.
Oh, yes. Next game, Cardinals versus the Panthers. The Cardinals are 7-7. The Panthers, 3-11.
The best 3-11 team I've seen in a while. If we're being honest.
What, they should have won the last 3.
Or 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like over and over again. They play every single team tough and then lose, which is ideal if you're a Panthers fan, because that's a great draft pick you're getting.
Yes.
While still showing all these signs of life, that's perfect.
That's not bad. And they could go defense because they have
Get
good.
Travis Hunter,
I think that
corner / receiver.
I think that's going to the Patriots.
I hope not. I hope the Patriots take a tackle.
They
that
need
guy from LSU.
Yes.
That's who I want the Patriots to take.
Well, I'll be fine if they take both the tackles from LSU.
Yeah.
Although they probably won't make it that far. But anyway.
But yeah, Mason Graham, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, and the Panthers really need an edge rusher. But all that said, Panthers.
Well, they had one.
Brian Burns.
Anyway.
He wasn't as good as he was hyped to be anyways. But yeah, the Panthers, Xavier Legette is probably out. He's dealing with a groin injury. That doesn't mean anything for Jalen Coker. I know Jalen Coker had an 83-yard touchdown
Don't trust
last
it.
week. And look, I like Jalen Coker. I actually do. He played like 6 years at Holy Cross. The dude is a 25-year-old, like, he's a veteran wide receiver out there as a rookie.
Diego Pavia got another year of eligibility.
Wow.
I mean, these cats are playing 7 years in the NCAA.
No, Jalen Coker, I think, did have like the record for receptions in his conference, or maybe all of FBS even.
Probably FBS.
So he's like, it's not surprising to see him hit the ground running, even though he's an undrafted rookie, because he's just got the experience. He knows how to run the routes. He's okay, but you don't start him because Adam Thielen is the target hog right now. If Thielen were to get hurt, I would say in this game, I would say next week maybe Coker is worth a look, but not right now. Adam Thielen is the only one you can consider.
It's Hubbard
starting.
and Thielen and 2 quarterback leagues. Give a nod to Bryce.
Yep.
Let's see. Cardinals.
Which Cardinals are you getting?
Exactly, and I hate to even say it, but start Kyler and Connor.
Connor is a must start.
Yes.
Connor is a stud.
Yes.
He's getting better and better right now.
And the no touchdown king.
Yeah, Trey McBride. How crazy is that? Is he gonna go the whole year without a touchdown?
I think he is.
I think they're trying to get him one. They tried hard last week.
Who does the quarterback like the most? Is it Olave or Trey McBride?
Oh, man. The thing is, I think Kyler loves Trey McBride. It's like, and I know he's passed Jacoby Myers on this record, but when Jacoby was a Patriot years ago, it was like there was a force field at the end zone.
He could not score.
He had this great season.
Didn't he have like 3 touchdowns or 2 or something crazy?
When he finally did? Yeah, when he finally did, he did it in a big way. But his first, call it year and a half in the league. Nothing. He would get to the 1 yard line and get brought down every single time. It was insane, and that's what's going on with McBride right now. But I mean, he's been a stud, and I kind of think he will get some touchdowns in these last couple weeks. He could be a league winner. I think they want to give him in this terrible streak.
But once again, who's showing up? That's the killer.
Yeah, that's the killer. It's why I think pains me to say this. I'm out on Marvin Harrison Jr. for this year.
Okay.
Don't start him this week. Don't start him next week. We'll see what happens next year. Kyler has been too inconsistent. As someone who has been a Kyler apologist, he's been too inconsistent. Yeah. And he still has this high-level potential, but you're in the playoffs. I don't want to have to worry about which version is going to be feeding Marvin Harrison.
He is the ultimate boom or bust.
Yeah.
And I mean, the first 6 games, it was boom.
A lot of boom.
And you did have like a bust in between those, but everybody saw. And look, I'm not trying to say I was right because, like I said, I think it's a boom and a bust situation. Great athlete.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's a baseball player.
He should have been a baseball player. I agree that he should have been a baseball player. And yeah, Kyler's only a QB2 for me. I wouldn't start him in one quarterback. Would not.
Now, who I would start would be the Vikings versus the Seahawks. The Vikings are 12-2. The Seahawks are 8-6. Light Darnold up this week.
Yeah, Darnold looked more like a pumpkin last week. He looked more like the Darnold that I've been saying he is, but he's still, like, for fantasy, he was still good. And yeah, start everyone, including, I hinted at this earlier, Jordan Addison.
Get him in there.
I don't care anymore about, like, are you the favorite, are you the underdog? No, just start Jordan Addison. Start T.J. Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, all of them.
Yeah, all of them. Seahawks.
This is a different one.
I don't know if Geno's playing.
He practiced today. I am not sure if it was limited. He did practice today. I think he's probably going to play.
He's
I
a
think
tough
it
guy.
changes things.
I think he will. But saying that, the only person on that team, this is sad to say, Jackson Smith.
I disagree.
You're gonna say AJ? I mean,
No, I'm not
DK?
going to say DK. Zach Charbonnet or Ken Walker, whoever. I would prefer it be Charbonnet. I would prefer Ken Walker don't play and it's Charbonnet. But if
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it's the defense, and I think it's just going to be the old Tyler Lockett routes for Jackson Smith.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Jackson Smith is the outer start. As much as I said last week I was out on DK, I'm even more out this week.
I would be too.
And I'll tell you why. Even if it is Geno Smith in there, he's banged up right now. He's not going to be as mobile. And it's not like he's a rushing threat or anything, but he can move around in the pocket. Their line is terrible. The Seattle offensive line is really, really bad. Now you go up against this crazy team.
And DK is not the greatest route runner.
No.
All DK is big and fast.
Yeah.
And when Geno rolls out, or whoever the quarterback is, rolls out, finds him on a busted play, and it goes big.
Yep, exactly right. And I don't think Geno's going to be able to roll out much.
I agree. Let's see. Next game. Patriots versus the Bills. The Patriots are 3-11. The Bills are 11-3. Patriots. Anybody? You're going to say Ramondre.
Well, I mean, Ramondre is a possibility.
Yes.
Again, he's one of the four I'm looking at. I'm leaning towards not starting him, but I'm considering it. Drake May, let's talk this through. We haven't gotten to the other game yet, but I am torn between Drake May and Tua. Tua has been the over Drake May every single week for me, and I haven't regretted that. Here's why I'm torn. Buffalo, 2 weeks in a row now, has gotten torched by quarterbacks. First Matthew Stafford, then Jared Goff. I mean torched in a major way. On the other hand,
Tua. I'm going to say it.
You're going to say Tua.
Absolutely.
I'm against San Francisco. The only reason, having just said that, the only reason I'm still thinking about Tua over Drake May is that last week, if you watched the Patriots, they have given up on the offensive line completely. The first half of that game, where Drake May's numbers looked okay,
Yeah.
take a guess what his average depth of target was.
What was it?
-1.5.
Really?
His average depth of target was -1.5. He was constantly, it's nothing but screens because they know this line can't protect him.
Well, I'll tell you where I'm coming from on this. First of all, Tyreek looks like old Tyreek.
He does.
Jalen Waddle, which I don't know if he's playing,
Banged up.
is better than anybody the Patriots have.
Yeah.
Jonnu, enough said.
Yeah.
A-Chain, enough said.
He's got the weapons.
He's got more weapons.
Yeah.
I understand, but here's where I was going to come from the Bills side. Josh Allen is an auto start.
Yep.
Get James Cook in there. I feel like they're
Yes.
fixing to run the ball down
Agreed.
their throat, and it's going to take the time off the clock. And I feel like it's going to be Josh Allen had that one game where he had like 180 yards, but they blew up.
Yeah.
It was defense and running.
I agree.
So that's where I would come from. I feel like
I'm with you. And just a message to my fellow Josh Allen owners out there. It has been a fun ride. I'm afraid these last 2 weeks are going to be a little disappointing from him. Not for lack of talent. Not due to lack of anything other than they don't need him.
Yes.
They don't need him to do a whole lot.
he doesn't need to be Superman.
That's right. It's cold weather games against teams that are out of playoff contentions. They're going to run the ball. So I agree with you. James Cook, great play.
And that's another thing that people with Josh Allen need to know. Okay, so Josh Allen has always wanted to be Superman.
Yeah.
This year, he doesn't have to be Superman. And that's the difference from the years before and now. And that's why I think there will be a deep playoff run.
Yep. I mean, that's been his entire career. This has been the conversation. He did have to be his whole career. He had to do it every time. And the conversation with the Bills was always, we've got to get this team to a point where he doesn't always have to do it, just like you said. And this year, I think back to week 2 against Miami, and what people remember about that game is Tua going down.
Yeah.
But that was also a game both before and after that moment. Josh Allen just didn't have to do much. He just had to hand it off to James Cook and to the rookie. I'm blanking on his name, guy from Kentucky.
Ray.
Yes.
I can't think of his last.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That's all he had to do is just keep handing it off. Now, the receivers, I know you're a big Shakir guy, but I am worried about Shakir right now.
So what's catching up? Well, Kincaid's back.
And Coleman's back.
And that's the two things. But once again, with Allen, he doesn't have to be Superman.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to throw the 80-yard bomb to Gabe Davis. It's dink and dunk and hit the home run when you can. And Shakir's not a home run guy.
No.
He is 8 catches for 70 yards. That's who he is.
I'm just worried that
he's a tight end wide receiver.
I'm worried with Coleman back in the lineup as well as Kincaid that he's just not going to get as. I mean, he still led the team in targets last week, but I'm just not sure there's enough on that branch anymore. Mixing my metaphors, but
I think
he's a flex to me. He's a flex.
Low end number 2 flex.
Okay.
And I had to roll with him as I didn't draft him to be a number 1.
Yeah.
Or number 2. But I had to because
Dell sucked.
And Ayuk.
Yeah, and Ayuk went down. So you tell me, tight end Dalton Kincaid or Hunter Henry?
Kincaid.
That's what I'm going as well.
Listen, I'm a huge. My 2 teams, the Bills and the Eagles. I'm a huge Kincaid fan. I had him on my other league in college.
I compared him to Kelsey when he was coming into the draft.
Yes. So anyway, next game, Jaguars versus the Raiders. The Jags are 3-11. The Raiders are 2-12, and the Raiders just have to hold on to not win this game.
Yeah, it's the battle for the number 1 pick. That's what this is.
So
right?
sad. Yes.
Or has Jacksonville fallen out of contention for number 1? I guess they have.
No, they're right there with what's
I think they're
what's the
pick
Patriots
number 4 right now.
No, they're right there with the Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, there's nothing good to be said about the Raiders. It's Brock Bowers, and that's it. Move on.
Oh yeah. Jags. There's nothing to say about the Jags.
It's Brian Thomas, and move on.
Yep. All right. Next.
I will say, actually, Mac Jones this week.
Oh, you think so?
Quarterback 2, barely. Quarterback 2. Yeah.
That gives you EBGBs.
Mac Jones appreciation moment here. Okay.
I'd never expect that to come out of your mouth, but okay.
As someone who's not a big fan of Mac Jones.
You are not. But he's worse than Brock Purdy.
No, he's the same as Brock Purdy.
Absolutely not.
He is the
anyway,
same
go
as
ahead.
Brock Purdy. 2 things to note on him. Number 1, he is a dirty player. Mac Jones, I will tell you this to your face. You are a dirty player. And it's so funny how, if you just look at this guy, this goofy, beige dude who's got the crew cut and everything, and he's a little doughy, and you're like, yes, this is the dirtiest player in football, but he really might be. He's constantly kicking people in the nuts and getting away with it. But also, the other thing, very, very funny about Mac Jones, is how he gets so animated and excited and doing the stuff you expect from Baker Mayfield, all these weird celebrations.
Things that you're supposed to do?
Well, no, it's the celebrations and getting cocky when it's you're still
When he ran the football, it was
exactly. You're still Mac Jones, and you are down in this game. You're a backup quarterback who, you were a huge first-round bust.
I never understood that. When you're down by 20-something points and you get a sack and you go crazy.
Right. Come on. And, you see that from defensive players a lot or something like that. But a quarterback...
You have been beat all night long.
Exactly.
You make one good play.
Exactly. It's very funny to watch Mac Jones be that way. So that's all I wanted to say.
All right, next game, 49ers versus the Dolphins. The 49ers are 6-8. The Dolphins...
Speaking of Mac Jones.
The Dolphins are 6-8. I can't even... Brock Purdy's going to go off in this game.
Maybe he will.
Just for you. He's listening to this right now in his friend's apartment because that's where he stays.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Brock, you seem nice. I don't think you're a dirty player like Mac Jones.
How much?
Clear.
Totally off the subject, and this is just a me and you conversation. How much money does the 49ers sign him for? Or how much? What's the lowest he'll take?
The lowest he'll take is whatever Trevor Lawrence got.
You think so?
Yeah, he wants the Trevor Lawrence deal. I feel pretty sure about that.
That's a terrible move for the 49ers.
I agree. I would not give it to him. I would give him.
I would get him like a 3-year $50 million. And I feel like that's high.
I feel like that's high too. I think about this.
Well, I think everybody, like the big players, are $25 million a year. So, I mean, I'm giving him what?
I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true. I'd give him 20, 25, I guess.
I wouldn't give him 20. I'm more in the 17.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it over 3 years though. I'd give him like a 1 year,
2 year max.
I'd give him 1 year's $20 million.
Well,
1 year, $20 million.
2 year with an extent with the offer. You know, whatever they do with the offer.
Option.
Yeah, option.
I mean, think about this though. They had Sam Darnold on the roster last year.
Well, think about this. I think their time has closed. Debo's done.
Debo's cooked.
CMC might be cooked.
He might be.
Kittle might be cooked.
Kittle's still great. Come on, Kittle's still the best tight end in
and
football.
IU's coming off of it. The best player on their team has was gunshot this week or this year.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, I always have questions about Shanahan. As much as I praise him as an offensive play caller, I always question him as a head coach. That said, yeah, I'm not a I'm not a Brock Purdy believer. That was a genuine slip because they are the same guy to me.
I think he's better, but it's like, I understand where you're coming from.
You can put any quarterback in there. It's not that Brock Purdy was ever any better than Jimmy Garoppolo. He was just healthier. That was all he ever was just healthier than Jimmy Garoppolo. You can put any quarterback in there and get the same result.
I said it at the first of the year. He's a game manager.
Yeah. Just find. I mean, it's not hard to find that level of game manager.
Like I said, the reason I took him was the CMC coming back earlier and the backfield catches. And you had Ayuk, and I mean he was destined for a good game.
I don't hate it for fantasy. Don't get me wrong. Historically, I don't hate it for fantasy. At this point in the season, I do kind of hate it for fantasy.
Okay,
Jawan Jennings, no.
Kittle,
yes.
Okay, so
Kittle's the only one I'm interested in. I think.
I think Brock will have a good game, not spectacular. I would not start him in a one quarterback league.
Yeah, no. And if I were someone who had, let's say, Russell Wilson as a potential for my QB2 instead of Brock Purdy, I would go Russell Wilson.
I would too. Let's see, Dolphins. I would say start them all. We went over it earlier.
Yeah.
I
don't think there's any more to add. I think you covered it pretty well earlier. The only question for me is, do I go Tua or Henry? And I know how you feel. I lean that way as well, but it's tough for me. It's really, really close. I think I've got those two right next to each other.
And like we've been stressing this whole podcast, do not expect blowouts and bunches of points to come from these teams.
Yeah. Don't go after Malik Washington.
Yes. Sunday night game will be the Bucks versus the Cowboys. The Buccaneers are 8-6. The Cowboys are 6-8. Now I do expect the Buccaneers to blow out the Cowboys.
It could be. Although Dallas has been coming on strong lately. Let's give them their props. As much as I don't like them.
I'm just glad Evan's not here to go Rico Dowdle.
He put it in the chat for us.
I saw it.
And he's right. I mean, he's right. I did pick Rico as a boom last week, and that panned out. I don't think Rico's actually talented.
Do not trust him. He's not.
But he is somehow making it work.
He is more talented than myself.
That's true. He's also more talented than me. But, I mean, I don't know if he's more talented than my cat.
Rico versus the cat. That'd be awesome.
But that said, I think you do have to start him.
I'm sorry. I just had a. There's a show on Netflix called The Hamster, where it's humans. Okay, it's so stupid, but it's so entertaining. There is a hamster cage with the stuff, and then there's a human cage, and like they have to go up the. Oh, hang on, it gets better. They have to go up the slide, and there's like obstacles on the slide. And like the hamster's like leapfrogging everything going over it, and the humans have to do the same thing.
God, people watch anything, don't they?
I watched it for a few minutes. It is stupid, but it is, for a minute, it was kind of entertaining.
Our fans are only judging you a little bit.
Just a little, and I'm fine with that.
Cowboys, for me, it is. I mean, look, Cooper Rush has been, he's in QB2 territory. He's been A few weeks ago you were like minus 20 on that trade. Still, I am so far on the other end of that trade at this point because of Cooper Rush. Come on.
Anyway,
Cooper Rush has been a pretty serviceable quarterback for fantasy.
Cooper Rush or Brock Purdy?
Cooper Rush.
Oh no,
Can't
do it.
Yeah, I would
can't
go
do
Cooper Rush at this point.
Saying Cooper Rush makes me throw up in my mouth.
Well, I'm sorry for you, but that sounds like
It's
an
not gonna be-
unfortunate thing.
It's not going to be good.
I
I'm
would
telling
just
you.
find another way to say his name, like not actually say the words. Yeah, I would go Cooper Rush over Brock Purdy. It's close. Don't get me wrong. I'm not that much of a hater.
Cooper Rush or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
No.
But I mean CD. Hell yeah.
It's just because it's CD.
Throw it up to 88.
I would not expect much.
26 points last week, I believe.
Yeah, who'd they play though?
I can't remember.
Somebody not good, I'm sure. Buccaneers. Baker. He's going to light it up.
Yes, sir.
Bucky.
Yeah. I mean, he's just so banged up. It worries me with Bucky because he is like he's got like 3 injuries he's dealing with all at the same time.
And my start of the week, Jalen McMillan.
I disagree with you on McMillan.
I understand.
I think he's a bench. I think, man, Mike Evans is the end-all, be-all of that receiving group.
He is the number one, but when the number one's covered, you go to number 2.
Not Baker. Baker says, "Oh, Mike Evans is covered. I'm going to throw it to Mike Evans."
It's probably the right decision.
I mean,
but anyway,
another 150-yard game coming for Mike.
Otten, I think, is hurt, so watch that. If he was out there, I don't know if I'd still start him anyway.
Yeah, he's like tight end 12 for me every week, I think.
Moving on to the next garbage game, the Saints versus the Packers. The Saints are 5-9. The Packers are 10-4.
Talk about a blowout. I'm sorry, Saints fans.
Yeah, nobody on the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, Kamara's hurt right now. I don't think he's going to play, but we're not going to know is the thing because it's a Monday night game. We're not going to know. Don't just make other plans. Just go ahead and plan to don't be hoping for him or Kendre Miller or Jamal Williams. Like, just go ahead and assume you're sitting them.
All right, Packers. Jordan's a go. Jacobs is a go.
Yep.
Don't trust Reed. I don't trust any wide receiver on that team.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was in on Reed for a while. Dobbs has been doing really well lately, but
You don't know who's showing up.
when I'm in the playoffs, man, it's like
I need points.
yes, exactly. I can't take that risk.
The only thing I would say is if you had somebody, you go in Sunday and you're playing and it comes to Sunday afternoon and you're getting blown out, then I would
That's true.
pivot. Then I would pivot to Reed or Jalen McMillan, somebody with upside that's going to play later on.
That's fair. That's fair. It's a good way to think about it.
Other than that, I think that's all I got. You got some booms and some busts for
I
us?
do have some booms and busts.
And I'm going to tell you how you're wrong, but go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna love some of these. You're actually going to agree with at least one. But oh man, you're gonna love this first one. Boom, Mac Jones, the actual Mac Jones, not Brock Purdy. Top 24 QB. This
I will
week.
bet you a cold Coca-Cola that Brock Purdy has more points than Mac Jones.
I wouldn't disagree.
Okay.
But I do think that Mac Jones is a top 24, which means he is a viable QB2.
I forgot where you come from on this.
Yeah, it's all relative to expectations.
It's so weird. But go ahead.
He's considered like the experts rank him outside the top 24. I'm putting him inside the top 24.
Okay.
Bust, and by bust I mean finishing outside the top 5 quarterbacks this week, is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I said that I had the exact same bust the last time he played Pittsburgh. I'm going back to that well. He did not finish inside the top 5 when he played Pittsburgh last
Will
time.
he be in the top 10?
He'll be in the top 10. He's still Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Or Mr. Jackson, as Mike Tomlin calls him. Booms, you actually will like this one. RB1, and this is maybe my lukewarmest of takes, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
I've said it several times on this podcast that I always am tempted to do a boom for a Lions running back for Gibbs, but I'm just always worried about David Montgomery, so I never do it.
You ain't got to worry about that now.
Exactly. So I'm pulling the trigger. Jahmyr Gibbs, RB1. On the other hand, finishing outside the top 5 running backs, Chase Brown. against is it Cleveland? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Cleveland run defense is pretty good. I hate the matchup for him. I think that his run blockers get overwhelmed, and he'll still do something because
Totally disagree. I think he will be in the top 8.
8 to 10, I think, is where he goes. 8 to 10.
I'll give you that then.
What I'm saying for sure is outside top 5. Boom, wide receiver. Garrett Wilson finishes inside the top 20. I think against this Rams secondary, he's got some good matchups. He's going to get some good looks.
Okay.
I like him. Bust wide receiver, I think you know who I'm saying. Jalen McMillan finishes outside the top 50.
Oh, no.
Look, Dallas is good at covering the slot. And he's going to play on the slot. Yeah, I don't like it. I think I think it's a terrible matchup for McMillan.
He is not playing the slot.
Yeah, he switches between the slot and the Y.
He plays the Y 80 something percent more than he plays the slot.
Even still, I don't like him this week. Outside the top 50.
I understand. I think he's going to be good, but I got you.
Boom, tight end. You'll like this one. Dalton Kincaid.
Yes.
Top 10.
I agree with
Top
that.
10. I think he's getting back in there. Even if Josh Allen isn't having to pass as much, some of his dinks and dunks will be to Kincaid. Enough for a good game. And then my bust tight end was going to be Zach Ertz, but sounds like he's not going to play. So I'll just say Ben Sinnott finishes outside the top 12. That's Zach Ertz's
Totally
backup.
agree with that. Whoever that is.
That's Ertz's backup, who got a lot of hype preseason, by the way. He's a rookie. I kind of liked him coming out of the draft, but not a good matchup for the tight end. That's it for my booms and busts.
All right, and I will say this little short message. Let's see. Your take was better than a steak. Devontae will be close. I mean, I say close. He'll be in the 20s on points. Devontae will be in the 20s. Rico is not the truth. Jahmyr Gibbs, yes to the moon, and Tony or Garland will win it all.
Well, I hope you're wrong about some of those. That last one in particular, I hope you're wrong, but you're probably right.
All right, so now to the total nonsense of this podcast.
Yes.
Top 5 Christmas movies.
Yes, we're going traditional this time.
Traditional, and all mine are just, I mean, you could line probably 10 people up on the street, and they would say all 5 of these on their top 5. So go ahead, Foley.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go backwards from 5 to 1.
You're fixing to come up with some crazy junk I've never heard.
No, it's really not. It's probably not as straightforward as yours. My number 1 is obvious, I think, and I've talked about it on this show before. But
you can't say Tinker Tailor.
No.
Okay.
But I'm going to start with my number 5, and as I thought about this list, the way I thought about it is, what movies will I find myself watching as I wrap Christmas presents? Because let's be honest, I'm not a big Christmas movie guy. There aren't a ton of movies in the world that don't have the F-bomb that I enjoy. And most Christmas movies do not have the F-bomb. So that kind of limits things. However, Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, it's a cute little movie.
It's funny.
And like dealing with the family and all that, there's some relatable stuff there. I like it.
All right, I will start, first of all, with an honorable mention.
I do have some honorable mentions for the end. Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll hold off on that.
Okay.
So my number 5 is more of a family thing as opposed to a great movie, because I don't think it's a great movie, but it's more a family thing. Christmas Chronicles.
Heard of it.
With Kurt Russell on Netflix.
Okay.
It's just a family thing. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Number 4 for me, this is The Holiday. With I know. It's a very girly movie.
I would not expect you to watch that, but go ahead.
I know. It's cute, though. It is cute, I think. And, like, Jack Black in it, I'm not, like, a big Jack Black fan. Yeah. In this movie in particular, that dude is charming. I'm like, I'm listening to him talk about movies and whatever else, and I'm like, do I want to be Jack Black's friend? Yeah, that's okay.
All right, the next one for me would be The Grinch with Jim Carrey.
Okay, yep. I will go a little movie on Hulu called Happiest Season. Came out a few years ago. It's with Kristen Stewart, as well as a lot of other people. Aubrey Plaza has a small role in it. Dude from Schitt's Creek is in there.
Yeah, you lost me at Kristen Stewart. But anyway, go ahead.
She's very good in it. It's a kind of different type of Christmas movie, but it's very good. I think it's very funny. I liked it.
All right, my number 3 would be a series, and that would be the Santa Claus,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
all the movies.
Yeah. Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Santa Claus is dead or whatever.
Have you seen the movie?
Doesn't Santa Claus die and Tim Allen has to take his place?
Have you seen the movie?
I think so.
Oh my god!
I've seen parts of him.
He falls off and dies, and he picks up. Anyway, go ahead.
I've seen parts of the first couple of movies. I don't know if I've ever watched them start to finish. Number 2 for me, and the 2 and 1 for me are just head and shoulders above the rest. Okay, these are the ones that I actually really do like. Number 2 is Love Actually, which I know. I mean, he's making these faces. I do like. Love Actually.
you're. Oh wow!
I'm a big Hugh Grant fan, so that's maybe part of it.
I was just fixing to be like, me too, but I wasn't.
No,
so
you'll agree with me on number 1 when I get to it. But Love Actually is a very funny movie. I think it's underrated, and the cast is insane.
my number 2 would be Elf.
Okay.
That's more of just a family thing, and we get down with that.
Yeah, I've never seen it start to finish. I've only ever seen bits and pieces of it.
But
Everyone
you
talks
watch
about
Love Actually. Anyway, go ahead.
Watch Love Actually. Number 1, we might have the same number. It's
gotta
1.
be.
It's possible. Christmas Vacation.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. It's
Absolutely.
So
Yes, I agree.
I never don't laugh.
Look, when cousin Eddie shows up,
Yes.
you're always going to laugh. In any Lampoon's Vacation movie, when cousin Eddie comes, you're laughing.
I mean, when they shake the Christmas present and it meows, I die every time.
I think I die every time on that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how many times I've seen it. And I have seen it, I mean, I'm 30 years old. I've probably seen it 35 times.
All right, give me one honorable mention.
I'm going to go with Jingle All the Way first, with Arnold.
I'll give you that.
It's a good one. It was one of my childhood.
I'll give you that. One I enjoy, 8-Bit Christmas. It's on
Never
Netflix.
heard of it.
It's good. It's 80s related.
Okay.
So,
okay.
one more.
The Ref, with Dennis Leary.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yep.
Mine would be Fred Claus. I love Vince Vaughn.
Okay.
So
yeah, I like Vince Vaughn. I don't know if I've ever seen it.
I'm sure you haven't.
A Christmas Story. I mean, come on.
I hate The Christmas Story.
I don't love it, but I recognize it as a classic, and there are certain moments that are relatable.
Well, my hate comes from, like, TBS being one of the only stations that you had during Christmas, and it played The Christmas
24
Story
hours straight.
24 hours. I hate that movie.
Yeah, it gets pretty old. But if you can, separate that part of it out and just think of the movie on its own merits,
I can't.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
The only thing funny in that movie is raw.
He said the F dash word.
Okay, there are some funny parts.
I mean, just the dad in general being cranky, I thought was pretty great.
That's it.
My last one would be Christmas with the Cranks, Tim Allen.
That's a good one.
Based on a John Grisham novel, by the way, so Mississippi Connection.
That's a good one. Yeah. All right, guys. Glad you hung out with us for a little bit. Hope you have a great... Oh, I'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Hope y'all have a great week, and we'll see you maybe next week. Talk to you guys later. Uriah saying out.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, guys.